What's up guys, I'm Brent Duffe. I'm the mechanic for Justin Brayton, number 10 on Factory Honda HRC. Yeah, so starting at the front of Justin's bike, we're still on rental handlebars. So last year Justin ran rental, so it was a nice easy transition. We didn't have to go searching for bars. He stuck with his regular 997 bend, and he's always ran his bars rolled forward a touch. Justin runs a works connection throttle tube, and we shave him down on a lathe just to make him a bit skinnier than normal. He likes the feel of a small grip in his hand, so we stretch him on and make him as thin as possible, and you'll notice we rotate the grips up just a touch and cut the inside waffle out. We're running ARC levers. Justin likes a nice skinny lever, and his lever's in fairly close to his hand, a lot closer than most guys out here. Carbon protective pieces, just you can never be too careful, and rocks can ruin races, so especially with the hydraulic clutch. It's a factory clutch. Cable clutches aren't susceptible. These hydraulic clutches can be, so we do everything we can to protect them. A factory front brake system, but only the master cylinder and the caliper are factory parts. The brake line itself is just a stock part. Yeah, Justin runs a taller bar mount than most, but he likes to really open up the cockpit in the front, and he's always over the years ran a tall front end. Yeah, and we're running the factory HRC clamps. Justin runs the Works triple clamps with the Works stem in it, a different race, a standard kill switch, start switch in the same position, but we also run a auxiliary starter right down here above the head pipe, just in the event of an emergency. We've got 2 start buttons. Yeah, so Justin's been with Showa since we switched to Hondas in 2016, and with the new model and from 2017 is so similar to 2020. We are on a different setting, but we haven't had to vary much. With Justin racing this model for the last few seasons and all around the world, we've got a really nice setup that he doesn't stray too far away from. Like, we are open to testing and we do make a few changes here and there, but as far as the base setting goes, we are on a very similar setting that Justin knows through and through. Yeah, we're on the Works Connection hole shot button. Justin runs it a lot lower than I see most people, and I don't know if maybe I'm weak or the forks are stiffer, but this is a 2-person job to get the button set. So if you ever see me down at the starting line, I got to tap someone on the shoulder and get a little assistance on this one. Justin just runs the stock steel axles front and rear. He doesn't really have a preference over tie, but stock is good and no need to change it. The wheels are Works hub with the Works spoke and a DID rims, capped off with some factory Dunlop tires. Yutaka rotors front and rear. Yeah, the front brake caliper's very strong. The Works brakes are really good, and we just run a standard size front rotor. Piston size is actually the same as the current stock production model, and there shouldn't be much difference between the current factory brake and the production brake. Works front brake hanger. We run a Works radiator, left and right. They're the same size as stock, just a little bit stronger, and we run the twin air louver covers just to help prevent mud from packing in the louvers and the bike getting hot. On top of the left radiator, you'll see the antenna for our data system. We've got a data logger on the left side behind the shroud. On the right radiator, the downstem coming out of the top is just a single unit, whereas the stock bike has 2. We've got a Y piece on the radiator hose, and it's mainly just a weight thing. You'll notice the tie spigot coming out of the water pump is bolted on. The stock units are pressed in. This is bolted on just for a security thing. Yeah, we actually just run stock engine mounts all around, but we do run tie bolts and then aluminum nuts. We have options, but the stock mounts proved to be the best feel for the guys. No one's really felt like going any other direction. We're running a Hinson clutch, 7-plate clutch. Last year Justin ran a pretty aggressive clutch setup, and this year we've gone to a lot lighter. You'll notice on the whole right side cover as well, we've got a sight glass. We run a Works right side cover on the engine with a ceramic coating for heat dispersion. We can now bolt on the titanium spigot coming out of the water pump. To top that all off, we've got a few engines we keep in rotation throughout the season. We're running a Yoshimura exhaust system. We've got the O2 sensor that is incorporated in the data collector. Justin and Kenny run the same exhaust setup. You'll notice the extra skin on the header. It just helps with protection of it. Works brake pedal, but it's a standard shape and height, length, everything, but it's got a titanium tip, slightly different adjusting point. We run a brake snake for protection. Above the brakes pedal spring, something just for protection, just to stop the brake pedal from being able to be slammed up and bent forward. Works clevis going up into the master cylinder. cylinder. It is a Works Master cylinder. It doesn't have a sight glass. That's the only difference in it. It's really just for protection. Stock swing arm pivot, but we do have a aluminum nut on the end of it. You'll notice the carbon starter relay mount, only just to reposition it, just to give a little more clearance with the shock body. So Justin runs a 10mm lower subframe in the rear. Justin runs a Works linkage setup, but it is the exact same measurements as stock. We run a Works Showa rear shock. Derek from Showa has been working with us throughout this whole preseason, ensuring we've got a good setting that Justin's happy with. We've been playing around with a few little things, but we are not far from where we started. Justin's very comfortable and very happy with the setting we have. While we have tried a few different settings and a lot of the components are different and new, we are essentially on the same setting that we've been running for the last few years. So Justin's overall comfort with the bike is very high. What he likes is he can race it all around the world, and he knows exactly what the bike's going to do in any situation. He doesn't like to throw on a whole new setup for every track. We do just like to make slight adjustments on race day. We run a standard rear brake line as well as we do in the front. We run a stock rear axle, some Works axle blocks, titanium adjusters, standard size Works Yutaka rear rotor. The chain guide is filled in on the front. You'll notice the stock units will have an opening. The Works chain guide is just filled in just for mud and rock protection. Justin doesn't generally change gearing too often, but with a new motorcycle this year, new team, we've gone down one tooth in the rear sprocket. So we run a 48, and we typically don't stray far from that. So the rear wheel is always in the same position. We do run a Works transmission. We run a DID O-ring chain. We mainly run it for strength, durability. I will attest to putting on a new chain, breaking it in the first session, and I don't have to adjust it. We run a twin air filter, and you'll notice the lightweight aluminum screw we've got in holding it. You know, weight matters, so we do everything we can to make these bikes light and nimble, and even the stuff you can't see. The factory foot pegs, those are a staple of the factory Hondas. They're all titanium mounts, titanium bolts, springs. Justin runs a standard height, nothing forward, nothing back. Standard setup, just a factory peg. Even the shifter is in the same position, but it is a titanium shifter with an aluminum tip on it. You'll notice the plate that blocks off where the stock cable clutch arm goes. Justin runs the factory hydraulic clutch system, and we have a few options for clutch lines, but Justin and Kenny are running the same hydraulic clutch setup, top to bottom. The harness is designed with durability in mind. We run a stock skid plate. For the mud rounds, we run the 450X model, which just doesn't have any of the holes in it. Justin runs a stock seat with throttle jockey cover on it. He likes the pleats on the seat. Justin likes a broken in seat. As much as he likes a broken in motorcycle, he also loves a brand new motorcycle. But one thing I'm always nervous about is giving him a brand new seat. You'll notice a lot of hand engraved numbers around the motorcycle. We do that just to keep logs and inventory of everything. Every hour put on the motorcycle is recorded and logged. We just like to track how much time is on parts. Justin and Kenny needed to switch bikes. All we'd really have to change is handlebars and forks and shock. Justin doesn't run grip tape on the frame where Kenny does. Doesn't really care either way if he does or doesn't have grip tape, but it's just one less thing to have to worry about. Yeah, we run VP Pro 6 race fuel, and the overall aesthetics of the bike, everything's made by Throttle Jockey. Throttle Jockey's been making the graphics for the factory Hondas for over 20 years. You'll notice a lot of the trimmed out graphics, and a lot of things we do is with weight in mind. And while it may not be a big part, graphics do have weight in them, so everything we can do to make the bikes lighter.